Star Wars Rebels Season 1, Episode 4, Rise of the Old Masters. The episode opens with Ezra being trained by Kanan. This training portion was way too goofy for my taste. Too many jokes, too much silliness. But I have a feeling that this is just a setup for more serious training moments to come. At least I'm hoping that's the case. It's funny that Kanan calls the lightsaber a laser sword. George Lucas in almost every interview and documentary I've watched calls lightsabers laser swords. I'm not sure which came first, but it's interesting that the creator of this universe calls it one thing, while the majority of his followers and fans calls it another. It's just a little interesting observation. I like how Kanan says that there's a button on the side to adjust the blade appropriate to your height. I don't know if that's something that's found in the EU lore, but I really like that little piece of information. I thought it was pretty useful and it makes sense. So the crew of the Rebel ship turns on the HoloNet and they see an Imperial broadcast. And then an illegal Rebel broadcast interrupts and says that an old Jedi Master by the name of Luminara, who was presumed dead, is actually alive and incarcerated in an Imperial prison. I always love scenes where truth breaks into propaganda, the guerrilla war of information. So, the crew plans a rescue mission. There are a lot of little easily forgettable things that I really like about Rebels. When the crew drops down on the platform outside the Imperial stronghold and beat up some stormtroopers standing guard, Zeb can be seen in the background fumbling around with their dead bodies, trying to stand them up like Weekend at Bernie's, to make it seem like they're still standing guard. I like little details like that. And the little witty remarks, for example, Kanan says it's difficult to teach, and then Zeb looks at Ezra, taps him on the shoulder and says, he means it's difficult to teach you. The Star Wars wit is alive and well in this series. When the Rebels reach the prison, they soon realize that it was all a trap. The broadcast was actually sent by the Empire and made to look like it came from the Rebellion. Its purpose is to lure Jedis into the trap and take them out. An Inquisitor is introduced. I love his design. It's not over the top, it's very subtle, very evil. His voice, for me, is what really makes it. Like many characters in this show, he's a smartass, but his smart-assiness just sounds better with that evil and determined voice. I liked his lightsaber at first. It was just a simple-looking lightsaber, other than some protection over the top of the fist, like you'd see on a real-life cavalry sword. And then a second blade appeared midway through the fight, and then the blade started spinning like a wheel, and I don't really get into the little gimmicky lightsabers. But it could have been worse. The Inquisitor could have used that gimmicky portion of his lightsaber in the lightsaber fight against Kanan, but he didn't. The lightsaber fight was really great, definitely reminiscent of the original trilogy duels. Very skill-based and weighted. Oh, and at the beginning, while the crew is in the prison, Hera stays back with the ship. Some signal or something that the ship was transmitting was operating on the same frequency as these flying creatures' mating calls? Okay, so she flies away and returns at the end of the episode with a fleet of flying, horny, ready-to-mate creatures, and they save the day. There was a lot of tension in this episode up until that point. Granted, it was at the end of the episode, but I would have rather it ended in a different way. The episode opens with Ezra training, and the episode closes with Ezra training. I'm excited to see how all of this pans out. This was probably my favorite episode yet. The tension was really there. It wasn't as silly as the other episodes. I'm looking forward to watching the next one. Thanks for keeping up with my Star Wars Rebels review series. 14 episodes, 14 days, 14 videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Hello Greedo, out.
Always with you, it cannot be done.